apologise. We are suffering a little bit of technical gremlins here with the broadcast, but hopefully we'll be able to bring them to you as clearly as we can. But it is Walker taking pole position in position 1, only just a few hundreds clear of Ryan Carter. The man in third place in this championship is he's trying to come back and trying to claw some points through as quickly as he can because he wants to be in that fight at the end at St. Croix. And then we have Steve Smith inside in third place. So Black Rose Racing first and third. It's going to be a juicy start to this race here with Jeff Bruin in fourth, Richard Robinson rounding up the top 5, Bendit in 6th, James 7th, Tony Griffin inside the top 8. And as I just said, as I covered there while we were off air for a little bit, between the top 8 is only less than 7/10 of a second, Jarman. So it just shows you how competitive TS3 actually is.
Yeah, it looks like Walker and Smith have certainly done their work during the week, and the Black Rose Racing team obviously really preparing well for this round here at Suzuka. So they've done a really great job and got themselves first and third. So that's an excellent effort there from that team.
Yeah, they've definitely been putting in the hard work since Fuji. They really wanted to cement themselves as front runners again, where they were a little bit quiet over the last few rounds. And unfortunately, a couple of moments as well with Smith, unfortunately, getting his disqualification at Laguna Seca didn't really help him. Has really compromised his championship picture at the end of it. But he's going to be looking to come back and really show the viewers at home and the audience here at the Suzuka circuit what Black Rose Racing is all about. Hard racing and fair racing for Black Rose, and I'm sure their team boss in Jimmy Lee, James Lee, and Jimmy Superfly will be watching his boys in P1 and P3. But we've got to make a couple of we have to make a couple of predictions here of who could potentially be getting the race victory here. I mean, I don't want to be biased, so I won't be biased to my teammates in both Jeff Brun and Wade Rushton, but I'm going to be going for a bit of an underdog here. I'm looking at a Steve Smith victory here for Black Rose Racing. So if he gets the start right, which I will actually mention, it is a rolling start, effective immediately for the Trackstars TS3 Touring Cars Championship. So if he gets the first couple of laps right, gets into a rhythm, he might be able to come through with a potential victory. So I'd like to hear your thoughts, Jamie, before we get started. Who could potentially take victory in race 1 or for round 12?
I'm probably thinking I might go to safe option of the pole sitter and go with the teammate of your prediction and go with Walker for this one. I think he's looking quite strong here tonight, but obviously there's the likes of Carter just behind in qualifying as well, and then of course, you can't count out Brun or Robinson as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And watch out for Tony Griffin. He's starting in position 8. So the man that was setting the pace in the practice earlier on, he's only set himself a 1 minute 52.1. So definitely not his fastest lap time around Suzuka Circuit. But we are ready, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get race 1 of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Cars, round 12 for the Honshu Sprint. Who will take out the victory? Time will tell very shortly as we get ourselves underway. So as we said, it is going to be a rolling start for our TS3 Touring Car drivers. For the first time this year in 2023, we have Walker starting on pole position with Ryan Carter second, Steve Smith in third, Jeff Brun in fourth, Robinson inside the top 5. As we see these guys rolling through, everyone looks to be starting on the straight here, so that's very good. So that's a very nice thing that GT's done. We're going to wait for those lights to go out on the start-finish straight as they are creeping towards the start-finish line, and we are underway. Green flag racing. Walker leads the pack of 11 2008 GT 500s down into turn 1 for the first time. Takes turn 1 very nicely there. A little bit laggy there for some of the drivers, so they might have to be careful when it comes to making an overtake, but it is Walker taking the advantage over Ryan Carter in P2, Steve Smith in third, Jeff Brun holds on to 4th place. It looks like he started to make a couple of moves, trying to eke up towards the rear end of Smith, but look at Robinson right behind. He wants to get this show underway from P5 and work his way up towards the front. As we see the drivers just being a little bit tentative there. Robinson's looking to try and go for a move for 130R. Bendit's looking to try and go for a move through Deckner 1. He doesn't, actually. I actually called 130R Deckner 1 there, unfortunately, so I apologise there for all the know-it-alls about Suzuka Circuit. So, yeah, through Deckner 1, Deckner 2, that looks like everyone is safe so far, and a much cleaner start here for our drivers in TS3 with Walker and Carter and Smith, your top three.
Yeah, great start there by Walker starting the race off, and obviously Braun and Robinson now fighting it out here for 4th and 5th position as Robinson looks to get a nice run here onto the back straight as they go on the run towards 130R. It doesn't look like Robinson does have quite enough of an advantage there to get ahead though, so Braun will keep that position through 130R and down into the Casio Triangle as we complete the first lap. Braun here looking like he's closing up to Smith as well, so this could turn things into a bit of a freeway battle here.
Yeah, absolutely. We see someone's gone there at the background. It is Ryan Carter. Carter is off. He's down at 11th place, Jarman. So one of the key contenders in this TS3 Touring Cars champion, Ryan Carter, is down at 11th place. Hopefully, we might be able to see what happened here. Did he go off? Did he put too much of the throttle going into Casio Triangle? His name's not appearing through here, so it looks like he may have just gone off on his own accord at the end of Casio Triangle. As we see some more drivers coming through down the order there. We see Bendit going wide into turn 1 as we see the replay action there, and unfortunately for Ryan Carter, this is not what he wanted in his championship fight, because he's only a few points behind Tony Griffin, which are over 360 points behind Jeff Braun in the championship. So this is a horrible start for the WTC boys, with both Tony Griffin qualifying in 8th place, and now Ryan Carter catching himself back up into 9th place. Tony Griffin's up into 6th at the moment, so he's still clawing through here, but it's still Black Rose Racing 1-2. A horrible opening lap, couple of laps here for WTC Racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's certainly been a disastrous
Griffin's
start.
still holding on to P6, but we can see it. Sorry, you go ahead. We are just covering. There's a couple of technicalities there, so you go for it.
Sorry, it's all good. Yeah, it's been a bit of a disastrous start there, but obviously we've got 2 9-lap races, so I guess the goal now for a lot of these WTC racing drivers will be to just claw their way back up the order and try and regain as many positions as possible and set themselves up for a good starting spot here in race number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important for them to try and claw as many points as they can. As we can see in the secondary camera, Carter is looking to make a move on Liam in car 28 of the It's Racing Esports Garage Nissan GTR going into turn 1. He couldn't make the move done, so he's still stacking behind him through the S's here. So he's going to be looking to try and make a move. As we have James on the broadcast right now, ahead of his teammate and Tony Griffin. Now, this is going to be an interesting factor here with these boys in the championship. We have to remember that James is not really going to be a factor in this TS3 Touring Cars Championship. He's well down the order. I believe he's down into 10th place. He already has two no-shows in this championship. So he might not be relative to where Jeff Braun is in the overall standings at the end of this. So I wonder if he's going to have to, if he stays ahead of him at the end for 8 laps, that'll be good for him, for his confidence. But on the 9th lap, does he give way to Tony Griffin and just give him those extra points? We'll find out soon at the end of the race. We can see Jeff Braun really putting the pressure on Smith in 2nd place there. Suzuka's a very, very technical circuit here. We're still in the Japanese leg. We're still choose sprint for both TS3 Touring Cars and for the Trackstars Touring Cars Championship. But we also, next week, we go for the TS2 Touring Car broadcast at Tokyo for street racing at nighttime on the streets of Tokyo for TS2 and the main series as well. So we're still on this Japanese leg here, and it looks like it's giving the confidence a lot more to these front runners in both Black Rose Racing, with Walker leading the way at the end of lap 3 at the commencing of lap 4. Smith in P2. Jeff Bruin holding on to third, and Robinson in fourth place. So these three drivers were your podium sitters at Fuji. Oh, as we see a couple of drivers gone wide there potentially, unless that's just a bit of lag causing on the end of the stream there. Looks like it was a little bit of lag there. But yeah, you could definitely see a couple of those three drivers, both Smith, Brun and Robinson, riding high with the confidence here in Japan, both at Fuji and now so far at Suzuka Circuit. So Robinson holding on to the back ends of this leading pack of Lexuses, the top three occupied by the Lexus, with the first of the Nissans in Richard Robinson in fourth place. He loves this combination of Japanese racing and GT500 racing as well. You can see he's happy when he's in clear air and when he's in a position that he can contend for a podium or a potential win. We definitely see the best side of Robinson in the team boss in car 20 of RoboSport Racing, who are actually on their farewell tour. As we know it is at the end of 2023 is going to be the end of RoboSport Racing, who has been part of this Trackstars Racing Series legacy, and I'm sure you know very well, Germany. You've actually known him longer than I have, so you've seen how much Robinson has actually grown to be a driver, and then as well team boss of his own team.
Yeah, he's certainly been a very committed member of Trackstars, of course, joining us in 2019, sort of I'll call it the second half of the season, so he picked up a few good results there in what was the touring car series back then, and then obviously did a fair bit of racing throughout 2020 and 2021 as well. And then of course into 2022 he sort of hasn't had the best time probably in the last year, but certainly has probably relished the opportunity to jump into TS3 this season. And I know he spoke to a few of us about maybe dropping back for a season, and he's done that, and we certainly all gave him the go-ahead to do so. And he's certainly taken the opportunity and maybe got back to enjoying his racing a fair bit more, which is probably what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about having fun, enjoying yourselves on track here. As we see, it looks like just unfortunate. The coverage here is not looking fantastic, but we do what we can, ladies and gentlemen, here at Trackstars Racing Series. But it is Jeff Brun really trying to close up on the rear end of Smith in P2, as we see Walker just running away with it. He's put 2 seconds over Smith in position 2. But like you said, yeah, Robinson has been part of the Trackstars legacy since 2019. I actually remember racing him for the first time at Blue Moon for the Blue Moon 500 in 2020 through the pandemic era. And he was definitely one driver I did not want to be behind, because I had no idea who he was at the time. But when we were racing, trying to race each other and trying to help each other through oval racing, we were just kind of like passing each other. We weren't really helping each other with the bump draft, and we weren't really helping each other close up to the front pack in that race. So it was a good time. It was a good moment there. We had some good clean racing at that time. And yeah, we've definitely shown a lot of respect to the man that leads the RoboSport Racing faction, who'll be signing off with RoboSport Racing as his own brand. So he won't be putting teams alongside his name. He won't be putting a team in at the Touring Cars Championship. He'll only be running as a privateer, as his own solo team. So that team has been bought out by Craig Harcourt for RN Racing in 2024. And we're very excited to see what he can produce, as we see Liam going for a move on the debut drive, and Rushton through turn 1 is very tricky there. But it still looks like he's got ahead of him. No, it looks like Liam's got ahead of him through turn 1 and 2. So nicely done there by Liam in car 20. And that very risky move to get through turns 1 and 2 very clean. But they've both done it respectively and given each other enough substantial room there. Maybe a little bit wide for Rushton going into turn 2, but Liam ahead of Rushton, who was running up into P7 momentarily, but it's just maybe dropping down a little bit of lack of track time for Wade Rushton, as he's told me in the background. A little bit of lack of track time is just hampering his progress up front. So far he's holding on to P9 while his teammate's doing the job, running up in position 3. I want to cross back over to the want to cross back over to P5. Down for P5, position 6 and 7 are occupied by WTC Racing. James leading Griffin, who is leading Carter, 5th, 6th and 7th place. If I was Von Duvey in the stream here, I'll definitely be calming the boys down, I would say. Just keep their heads cool, maybe play the tactic game where James might have to surrender P5 to give to Tony Griffin. Obviously, we don't really, I'm sure a team boss like Wade won't implement team orders here, but I guess if you have to look at it, the big picture, with Tony Griffin and Ryan Carter worthy contenders to the TS3 Championship, with Jeff Brun running in 3rd place. Brun still piling on the pressure here on Smith on lap 7 of 9. We don't have much time to go here, ladies and gentlemen. We are starting to run out of laps here. Walker still leading the way, 2.4 clear of Smith in position 2, and Jeff Brun is really hunting down the rear end of that 29 Black Rose Racing entry. He doesn't want to give up. He wants to get those extra points for his championship. He knows the front two are not in contention for this championship, but every single point counts for Jeff Brun to eke that gap ahead of his rivals in Tony Griffin and Ryan Carter, and even Robinson as well. We can't discount Robinson. He's position 4 right behind this pack of Lexus. Oh, Lexi, I would say. If you're calling a pack of Lexus, what would you call it? Would you call it a pack of Lexi or Lexuses? You let us know in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen. But it is 2.5 laps to go. We are very close to the end here, and look, good racing. I will say here, for TS3 touring cars around Suzuka, it is a very hard challenge, and for the boys to run 9 laps in the dirt area that they're running, they are doing a really solid job here. For both Jeff Brun and Robinson right behind, they are really sticking well close to each other. And you could say with the competitiveness here in TS3, these guys are showing some great car control and great skills to keep these cars on the tarmac, Jarman.
Yeah, I'd say amongst the top 5 at a minimum. They're doing an excellent job here. Between all of them, keeping basically on the track. I know, sort of going back to the days when Robinson actually joined us, there was a race here at Suzuka. I think it was one of those races where no one actually wanted to win it because we all kept running off the track and binning it and spinning out, and yeah, in the end it was whoever made the least mistakes won it. But as you were sort of getting excited there about before, obviously there's a nice little battle forming here between Smith, Brun and Robinson here for 2nd place in the closing laps.
And Jeff Brun almost tried to go for an outside move on going into turn 1 and turn 2. Not where you want to see drivers going for an outside move there. It's so tricky to control the car, and Robinson has slowly closed that gap massively as well. The 2nd, 3rd and 4th are running within less than a second of each other here, ladies and gentlemen. So let us know who your pick is for P2. Walker's just run away with the victory here, 4 seconds clear over his teammate in Smith, but Jeff Brun has got the run going into Spoon Curve. What does he do here? Does he set on the inside? Blue goes defensive, bit of contact made between the 2 drivers. Oh, a little bit of bargy there. Unfortunately, looks like something's gone wrong between the 2 there, so I wonder what's going to happen if Brun's going to give that position back. He is doing the right thing. He is pulling back, and he has given the position to Smith in 3rd place. So well done to Jeff Brun. Great sportsmanship there by the championship leader. That's why he is a worthy champion, a championship leader, running respectively, playing by the rules, made a mistake, owned up to it, and gave the position back. But that's compromised both drivers, and that's helped and benefited Robinson in position 2 here. So very opportunistic moment there for Robinson to claw P2, but that was very unfortunate for both Smith and Brun. Both hard races, but unfortunately for Brun, just cost Blue that opportunity to capitalise on P2.
Yeah, definitely some good sportsmanship there from Brun there to give the spot back, but yeah, obviously both drivers losing out in the end. And now on to the final lap. Robinson carrying a bit of an advantage here, got a bit of a gap here, nearly a second is the gap between himself and Smith, and so it'll be hard for Smith to probably bring that gap in as we get towards the end of the race.
Yeah, so it does. I think definitely looks like the positions have been settled unless something drastic happens here. As I know Smith very well, he's a hard racer and he doesn't want to give up. Once he knows he's lost the position, he's going to be fighting hard to get back that position. And you can see he's closed up massively. He's taken 2/10 away from Robinson through the hairpin alone there. So he's charging. He wants to come through. He might not get it towards the end there unless he gets a very strong run on the exit of Spoon and really commits himself to a full send through 130R. It'll be very close to P2. So we'll keep an eye on that battle pack very shortly there. But as we save that, Robinson's eked the gap out to just over a second now. So that looks to be set in stone for Robinson to hold on to P2. But this man, the man that took pole position from a lights to flag finish, it is Adam Walker to take his first victory here in Trackstars Racing Series for the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. Round 12 for the Honshu Spring. Race 1 victory goes to Adam Walker and Black Rose Racing. So congratulations to the man in first place in car 17, Adam Walker. Robinson in second place, and Steve Smith rounds up the podium in third place. Jeff Brun still holds on to fourth, but what a win that is for Black Rose Racing to get both their drivers first and third, 2 cars on the podium. I'm sure James Lee will be a very happy team manager to be up into first and third. As we round up the rest of the rear of the field, we have James, Griffin and Carter, 5th, 6th and 7th of WTC Racing. Then we have Wade Rushton inside the top 8, Hasseldine in 9th, Liam in 10th, and unfortunately rounding up the rear of the field is going to be Bendit in 11th place, unfortunately. So look to be a very unlucky start for him in race 1. We can see there on lap 2 he's picked up a 2:11 lap time there, so something happened as we did see him go wide on turn 1, so maybe a little bit helped going into turn 1 and 2, we're not so sure. But this man, Adam Walker, takes his first victory here in Trackstars Touring Cars, and what a victory to get a victory, a comfortable victory, 6 seconds over Robinson. That is a class drive from Adam Walker and Black Rose Racing.
Yeah, he obviously had to lead from the start of the race, and obviously with the battles going on behind him from second, third and fourth, it sort of allowed him to just skip off into the distance a little bit and really take advantage of the fights going on behind him. And certainly a very clean race here from Walker to grab victory here in race 1. And then of course the battle between Robinson, Smith and Brun there, of course, was great to watch, but yeah, unfortunately had a bit of a sadder ending to it with the contact between Brun and also Smith there towards the end, but still a great race to watch between those 3.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we go to the results page, we have full confirmation here. It is Black Rose Racing's Adam Walker taking the victory in race 1 for round 12 of the Honshu Sprint, with Robinson, the man in the Seoul Nissan GTR, in that top 8. As you can see, it's a full page of Lexus from positions 1 through to 8, 7 out of 8 in occupying the first page. For Robinson, the Seoul Nissan GTR takes home P2. A very, you could say a very lucky P2. He was holding on to 4th place, but when opportunities come around, he took it upon his wing. He took it upon himself to take advantage of it, and he took advantage of that very nicely. Then we have Smith in 3rd place. I won't be very happy with Brun with that little hit going into Spoon there, but he did the right thing, gave the position back to Smith, and still holds on to a podium position there, with Brun holding on to 4th. And then we go down to James, Griffin and Carter, WTC Racing, occupying 5th through to 7th. Then we have Rushton in 8th place there. So Carter looks like he's got some good pace under him. He did set the fastest lap there, 1:51.5, and we look towards the front there. Walker only set a 51.9. So some very close lap times that we're seeing amongst the field here. And then through the second page, we have Mark Hasseldine for Hassel 1 Automotive in 9th place, and then Liam rounding up the top 10, and unfortunately Bendit well down the order. Unfortunate for him, down in 11th and last place. Very unlucky for the man from the Flying Dutchman in 11th place, but watch out for him to come through the pack in race 2. We always know him to be a very fast driver. As we also have now we have our late entrant in Barrington's come along as well here. So great to see the M&R Motorsport Network Racing joining us for race 2. So that's very exciting to see that we can have 12 cars on the grid for race 2.
Yeah, it's good to see. Even though Barrington was a little bit late, he still has committed to turning up and at least getting the second race in and keeping those points ticking over, even though it may only be half the points of what he would probably normally get. But yeah, at least he's still making the effort to roll in and still get a race in here tonight. So yeah, good to see that he's still committed to taking part. Obviously, we've got the 5-minute warning there from Robinson, so shouldn't be too far away from race number 2 as well.
Yeah, definitely. We are looking forward to the start of race 2 as Robbo will have to change the grid around and put everyone into their position as it is based off previous results here. So Walker will be starting off from first place again, just like he did at the start of race 1, taking pole position very comfortably, only just taking pole position away from Carter in position 2. But we did see there Carter has got a fast Lexus in that WTC Racing entry in that car 23. So he's got a fast car, but he's got a lot of, he needs to pass a lot of cars to get anywhere near Adam Walker, who will lead the pack for race 2. And then you're going to look behind Robinson. He was the dark horse in that one, just sitting very pretty in 4th place. Took the opportunity that he could to get P2 at the end of the race, so he'll be a very happy chappy holding on to getting P2 at the end of it. But if he's got that pace and he's got the consistency, could he challenge Walker for victory? And could this give Robinson his first victory in TS3 touring cars for 2023? So we're seeing one brand new winner in Adam Walker, ladies and gentlemen. So stick around. We'll get the grid sorted very shortly here as we get race 2 underway for round 12 of the Honshu Sprint for Trackstars TS3 touring cars. The last round before we implement the drop round calculations, where we will decide who will be the champion at the end of the St. Croix C layouts in 2 weeks' time. So we're very excited to get to that round, but we have one more race to go here at Suzuka Circuit. So join us in a few minutes' time when we bring race 2 live coverage to you guys very soon. Alrighty, thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. We had Robinson actually just working on a couple of things with the Trackstar series admin, just getting a couple of things sorted out. He said to us in the background, it's like saying, "Hey, you didn't give me enough recognition for my P2 there." And I said, "Oh, what are you talking about, Robbo? We definitely did. No, we didn't show you enough recognition, Robbo." So it was a good P2 in the end there. But it is, we are ready to go here for race 2 for round 12 for the Honshu Sprint. Another rolling start for our TS3 Touring Cars drivers. Obviously, for those that have just tuned in to the broadcast, thank you for joining us here at Trackstars Racing Series. Like and subscribe if you are liking what you are seeing on track. And we are running the rolling start formats from effective immediately from this round and the final round at St. Croix. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Race 2 are coming underway shortly with Walker leading the pack of 12 angry GT500s. And we are underway. Green flag racing gets the launch over everyone else, but everyone will go single file going into turn 1. The wind direction, we have to also consider, ladies and gentlemen, has stayed the same. So the track conditions, the way that drivers are going to place their cars will be exactly the same as it was for race 1. So our drivers will be getting familiar with themselves for the first opening laps here, as we see some good, clean overtaking by some of the drivers here. So a couple of drivers making some moves there. We can see Hasseldean looks like he's made a move on Liam in 10th place, and Rushton has moved up a position into P8. So good start from those two, but it is still Walker leading, Robinson leading, Smith inside the top 3, and the WTC boys. They are close quarters with this battle pack, and they are looking for a vengeance here. They want to get themselves up towards the front. They want to get themselves past Jeff Brun, who's currently in position 4. Tony Griffin has made the move on James. Up into P5 he goes, looking to find some vengeance alongside here next to his name in car 62, and wants to be ahead of his rival in Bruin, who holds on to 4th place, who yet again, with just like we saw in race 1, is stuck to the rear wing of Smith in position 3. But hopefully for Bruin's case, he'll be able to make some moves a little bit cleaner than what we saw in the last round, and he'll be able to get himself inside that podium positioning. But it is still the top 4 as they stay the same, with Tony Griffin the only mover and shaker within that top 5. As we see here, an instant replay with Barrington. Looks like he's just made a couple of mistakes there. We can see there on the exit of Deckner 2, just gassed it up a bit early, but didn't get any damage to his name, so thankfully for him. He's just roaming around, just trying to get himself comfortable with the car. Again, I can see Carter dropping down the order as well, and both James. So something has happened yet again on this, looks like the same corner for WTC Racing. It is not going to plan for these two, both Carter and James, tumbling down the order. What has happened here? Carter's run wide. Has he taken out his teammate? He has! Carter has taken out James going into Casio. That is not what the doctor ordered here. And James has hit the barriers through 130, through Casio Triangle. Let's catch an onboard there. What's happened here? He's going by his day here, and then just bang from his teammate in Ryan Carter. No, that is not what he wanted. So you could say that in a way there, Jarman, between themselves, Carter and James, and Carter's predicament, that could be a championship defining moment in the famous words of Mark Scaife.
Yeah, it's a very defining moment in this championship battle, and of course it's probably the last thing that two drivers from the same team want to do. Not sure where the cameraman was looking, but he certainly panned away from the battle that's going on there, as Liam and Hazeldine are both fighting it out here for 7th place, with Carter and Bender obviously close behind, looking to capitalise on any mistakes. Liam all over the back of Hazeldine here, as he looks to try and get out on the inside for his spoon curve, but isn't really getting enough of a run here.
It's a very risky move to make moves through Spoon and any other circuit, because it is so tight and so narrow. You're just waiting just to make a move, and then you just get impatient, and then you just send a move that unfortunately doesn't work. So the best thing that Liam could do is just stick in behind the rear wing of Hasseldean. He'll be looking to make a move and waiting for him to make a mistake, as we see Carter going on the defensive through Bendit, who's actually made a position up into P10. Unfortunately, the driver that did drop out of it was James, and who got caught up with his teammates. So he won't be a happy man underneath the racing helmet from WTC Racing, and for And for Von Duve, he won't be a happy team boss to see his 2 drivers making contact at the end of lap 1. But he will be happy to see Tony Griffin right up into P5, putting the pressure on this battle pack between himself, Brun, and Smith inside the 3, 4, and 5. They are losing a little bit of time to the top 2 now, so it looks like Walker's just eked out his gap to about 1.6 over Robertson in P2. So both just comfortably sitting in their rightful positions. Blue looks like to be the cork of the bottle between this battle pack here, the battle for 3rd place. And you would have to think as well, as the two contenders in this championship for both Brun and Griffin, what would you do in this? And what would you do in this case here, Jarman? Would you try to go for some moves? Would you try to be a little bit ambitious and just try and go for an ambitious move where we don't really see overtakes happen, or do you just have to wait patiently for the driver to make a mistake?
It's probably a bit of a judgment call, I'd say. That you sort of have to weigh up the risk versus reward, and in this kind of situation, you probably just have to make sure that you know you're absolutely going to get a move done here. As Brun has a bit of a look there, but obviously he has to respect the agreement there between the drivers at the 100-meter board to back out of things and not try and force the issue. Otherwise, you could have a major incident like we saw in the Super Formulas a few weeks ago, where one of the cars basically ended up at Degner.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a horrific accident in the real world Super Formula Championship. The finale was actually the last round. As we can see, the 2 drivers, bang, they're just really pushing themselves to the absolute limit here. Just no quarter given, no mercy shown for those, for both Smith and Brun battling for P3. Tony Griffin's just lurking behind there, so he's doing what Robertson did in the last round. He's going to wait patiently for these 2 to collide yet again, and he will come through to take P3. But in Smith's case, he won't want that to happen again, and for Brun's case, he won't want that to happen to him as well. So he doesn't want to lose any more positions. If he holds on to P4, he'll definitely be happy with that, but he wants to keep moving up the grid. He wants to try and get away from Tony Griffin, who's actually lost a little bit of time to Smith in that sector there. So he's losing time to Smith, and with Griffin closing up, it's got a nice battle pack that's going to be brewing for P4, but you don't want to take your eyes off the prize. You don't want to take your eyes off P3. So for Brun's case, he just needs to keep his head down, just keep running in the lap times and close that gap yet again. But Robinson ahead is closing up on Walker just little by little there. The gap, I believe, is just over a second. There's only 1.1 between Walker and Robinson. Griffin goes for a move going into the last part of Spoon Curve. That was a very ambitious move, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Do you go for those ambitious moves? And Griffin just showing the nose there, saying, I'm here to play. I'm here to play, Jeff. Don't count me out just yet, because I'm still going to be challenging you for this championship. So the gap between this 3rd places looks like it's closed down a little bit there. So it looks like Smith didn't get the best run out of the Casio triangle as we go on board with Tony Griffin. He's just, like I said, he's just lurking in the background, waiting patiently, closes the gap a little bit, then drops back a little bit just to get a bit of fresh air. Contact made again between Smith and Brun again, so this is going to help Tony Griffin come through, but he loses the rear end, but saves it at the same time there. So Brun is very impatient here, and he just wants to try and get the move done, but he's lost a bit of ground to Smith there, runs wide in a couple of corners through the S's, and is really struggling to keep that head down, keep that composure, because now he's got Tony Griffin right behind him in car 62 wanting to make the move and make the charge, so Smith can breathe a sigh of relief there. But it is not over yet. We're on lap 5 of 9 here, and the battle pack is closing between the 2 contenders in this championship, both Jeff Brun and Tony Griffin right behind there. Griffin's close enough. He's looking to shape a move on the inside. He doesn't. Jeff goes onto the defensive there, so very clean driving amongst those 2. And wow, what a great lap that was. And we can now see Smith is actually losing time as well. So you could say in a way Smith is the cork in the bottle of this, just holding the pack up a little bit, as we see James in the background go spinning off of the exit of the hairpin, just gasses it up too much, and that's his day done and dusted. It just goes from bad to worse for car 56 and James. One getting tagged by your teammate and now dropping into 10th place. And My goodness, Jarman, there is so much action to cover in this race here. We're only on lap 5 of 9. Not too long to go here, and it's going to be a spicy finish here with these top contenders. As we can see here, Jeff, he just keeps running a little bit late on the brakes there. He looks like he's a little bit more confident there where Smith isn't. And it just backs the pack up here with Tony Griffin now picking up a half second next to his name here. And this battle pack is raging on, and it could kick fire. It could kick fire any fires that are around this circuit.
Yeah, I've definitely had a replay saved for probably the last lap and still haven't been able to show it. I think we might abandon the idea of that one, as it looks like this battle is just going to continue to rage on here. I was very fortunate to get that pass between Carter and Bendit there a bit earlier, and at the same time James going for a bit of a spin there. Just caught it out of the corner of the eye and managed to switch things up there. But Griffin has that half-second penalty hanging over his head, and I think that's going to drop him off the back of Brune here a fair bit when he comes to serve that penalty. But Brune here is very much looking very aggressive here, and I think he's starting to get a bit impatient being stuck behind Smith as he looks to take the third and final spot on the podium. And I think he can see that Robinson is getting away from him a fair bit and knows that maybe he might have something to contribute towards getting second if he can just get ahead of Smith.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can see the gap there between Smith and Robinson is 5.5 seconds, where the gap he's not thinking about second place anymore. He needs to consolidate third place. As we can see, Griffin has just served his penalty there. He's just dropping time. It was 0.6 behind Jeff Brun going onto the back straight, so we'll wait and see how much time he's lost. It looks like he's lost about a second there, but we'll wait till the end of the Casio Triangle just to get a real gauge of what the gap is. So we're looking at about, 1.2 second loss here, but the run that Jeff's got on blue, this is his best opportunity to go for an outside move going into turn 1. What does he do? Does he brake later than Smith going into turn 1? He has done. He's got it around the outside and he's made the move. He's done it. He's got it to P3, so well done to Jeff. That was a brilliant move there by the championship leader.
Yeah, he channeled his inner Kimi Raikkonen there, that's for sure, as he went for a sweeping move around the outside and takes over position 3. Unfortunately, it wasn't for the race lead on the final lap like Kimi did, but certainly very impressive as it was for a spot on the podium.
So that's the relief that Jeff needed in this race here. So he's now got clear air. It's only about 2 3/4 of the lap to go. He knows he's going to try and hold on to P3, but he's got clear air. He wants to go for those fastest lap and just bring that gap down to Robinson as much as he can. He might not be able to get P2, but he wants to try and show his pace off and tell the viewers at home, this is where I could have been in this hunt for the race win. But Blue drops down to P4 after a valiant effort throughout the whole 2 races. Unfortunately, did not get the best run out of Casio Triangle and just loses the position to, well, it looks like he lost the position to Jeff Brun, as I was just almost mixing my words up there. But I'm just looking here as well there. I could see Carter's dropped down the order. He's down into 10th place as well, so his name's just popped down as well. So the race that has gone from bad to worse for WTC Racing is just, unfortunately, not working wonders at all. He's down in 10th place, as we saw Jeff Brun going purple on his lap there, and he just goes for a spin on the exit of Spoon, and this is not the race that he wanted, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Carter in 10th place, not where he wants to be. Jeff Brun doesn't set the fastest lap though. He's only a few hundreds shy from Walker's overall lap time, but he is closing on Robinson, but it's too little too late. What could have been? He should have made the move a little bit earlier. But you can see the gap that he's pulled on Smith there, Jarman. You could definitely tell he was very impatient, but he made the move stick at the end of the last lap.
Yeah, he's got that move done. He really worked it out well. I think after making contact with the back a couple of times into the Casio Triangle, I think he just worked out that he needed to brake it just a little bit earlier into there, maybe set himself up for a good run down onto the pit straight, and that was exactly what he did and managed to make the move work. And now he's setting some fast lap times here probably does come with a bit of a risk though. You don't want to push too hard trying to close this gap in the final 2 laps and then find yourself spinning the car off the track and undoing all that hard work.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I don't think Jeff he's the kind of driver that wants to show his pace off if he is caught up behind traffic. But he won't be able to close up, unfortunately, on the back end of Robinson, who's actually lost a little bit of touching ground there to Walker. And we have to go back to Walker. What a class drive from the man from Black Rose Racing. We saw him very early signs in this TS3 Touring Cars Championship, right up the front there, battling with the likes of Bruin and Robinson. But unfortunately, with a few rounds next to his name, just not getting the best performances that he would have liked through his whole championship season. Has actually dropped well down the order. I believe he's 3rd or 4th in the championship. So unfortunately, he might not be able to get the points that he wants in this championship. But he's doing it for pride. He's doing it to put in the honour for Black Rose Racing. He already got his first victory for Black Rose Racing in the last round. He might be able to go 2 from 2 and get a clean sweep here. As we see, Bendit has made a move on Hasseldine. Hasseldine was occupying 6th place, and Bendit from the rear of the grid up into P6. That is a worthy drive there by the Flying Dutchman. Hasn't had the best of races here in the Honshu Sprints for round 12 of the Trackstars TS3 Touring Cars Championship. Fell well down the order, last place in 11th, but up into P6. That is a class drive there by the Dutchman.
Yeah, great recovery from what was a poor start from Bendit, but he's certainly got his head down and worked on the recovery drive and managed to get himself up into 6th, which was a very good effort there to close out tonight's action. As we're now on the final lap, we'll just cross over to Walker. I think that's probably where we need to be for the race finish, of course.
Yeah, it looks very well spread out amongst the field here. The only battle pack we will look towards the ends, there's a battle for 6th place between Bendit and Hasseldine. Hasseldine has closed up a little bit onto the rear ends of the Nissan driver, but it is Walker that gets the center of attention here. What a race, what a victory this and what a round in this Japanese leg. The last time these boys will be coming around here in Japan for 2023 as he rounds 130R for the final time entering Casio Triangle. It is the clean sweep. Get your trap cards out, get your brooms out, because it is a clean sweep victory for Car 17 for Adam Walker, and Black Rose Racing takes the victory here for the Honshu Sprints in race 2. Well done to Car 17 and Adam Walker. Robinson holds on to P2 very nicely, holds on again to P2, and Jeff Bruin with that fantastic move on Smith around the outside a few laps ago, gets P3 away from Smith, and then Tony Griffin rounds up 5th place, making a position from position 6, which is now being occupied by Bendit, who just got the jump over Hasseldine at the end there. James rounds up in 8th place, Liam in 9th place, and Ryan Carter in 10th place. This is the story of the round here, ladies and gentlemen. The man that was only a few points behind him. He did set the fastest lap in the end there. He is showing off his pace here, but he's showing off his qualifying pace. But unfortunately, with the race to forget for Ryan Carter and WTC Racing, as we see Rushton coming across the line in 11th place. Not the best race for him, unfortunately, after a good result in race 1. And then Barrington, late minute entry into race 2, finishing in 12th and last place. But we cannot take our eyes off the man from Black Rose Racing, getting the clean sweep here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for round 12 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. Congratulations to Adam Walker and Jimmy's team in Black Rose Racing. So the dust has settled here for the Honshu Sprint. Our TS3 Touring Car boys have finished their racing. It is now time to go to the main series in just under an hour's time, where we'll be seeing the loud GT500s, the 2016 models, the newer versions from these 2008 model GT500s. We'll be seeing the likes of Ridwan getting another clean sweep, or will we see a worthy challenger in the Track Stars Touring Cars Championship. We'll find out in under an hour's time. But before we end the broadcast here, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to give out our driver of the day here. So we like to bring this segment at the end here, Jarman. So it's going to be no pressure on you, my friend. But I'll let you have the first one. I'll let you go for driver of the day. Who do you think is a worthy driver? It's for whether it's the race, whether it's driver performance, or it could just be what we saw in race 2.
It's probably going to be the easy pick, but it has to go to Walker, surely, because, I mean, first clean sweep and done it in such convincing style that, yeah, I feel like for me it has to be Walker as driver of the day. He's certainly been the class of the field throughout these past 2 races and certainly deserves both victories.
Absolutely, so very worthy honour there. But, I think from one Black Rose racer, I think I'm going to give it to the other one in Smith. Held on to P3, consolidated P3. He was running position 2. Unfortunately, the tap from Brun in race 1 didn't help him seal P2 in race 1. But what a valiant effort to hold off the championship leader. That is what you call some great driving from Smith. Just made Jeff wait patiently and was making him very impatient throughout the whole of race 2. Unfortunately, losing out to the MSR driver and losing out in P3. So I think he might be able to hold on to P3 if we look back on countback, and we have to go back to where he was positioned in qualifying. I think Smith was ahead of Brun, so I think he might take P3 overall. Equal on points between the 2 drivers, but I think the reward for driver of the day is going to go to Smith. And there we go. Both Black Rose racers got driver of the day here, Jarman. So that's a victory, a couple of podiums, and now a couple of driver of the days. So well done to them.
Yeah, it was certainly a brilliant performance there from the Black Rose Racing team. So certainly did their work during the week by the looks of things and got rewarded very well for their efforts. And I must say that Black Rose Racing livery just gives me a bit of the nostalgia back to the Team Dynamic liveries that were in the 2003-2004 season. They do look very nice out on the track as well. Obviously getting much better results than what Team Dynamic did back in the day, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll hopefully maybe able to, towards the end of the year, we might be able to have the best and fairest, best presented team, best liveries. We'll probably have those award ceremonies at the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll discuss within the series admin team. I think it might be a bit of a worthy shout there. So we'll find out very shortly. But it is the end of round 12. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. In 2 weeks' time, we will bring you all the live coverage here for the Trackstars TS3 Touring Cars Championship for the final round in round 13, where we will crown a new champion in Trackstars Racing Series, the TS3 champion. Who will it be? We'll find out once we put all the results together in 2 weeks' time, and we will show you, ladies and gentlemen, who is going to be a contender in this TS3 Touring Cars Championship from round 1 all the way up to round 12. It has been Jeff Brun leading the way in this championship. He has not lost the lead at all in this championship fight. So will he be able to hold on to the end from round 1 to round 13? You will have to stick around for that broadcast. We are very excited to bring you all the action in 2 weeks' time, but stick around. In 50 minutes' time, we will bring you the main series for round 11 for the Honshu Sprints Touring Cars Championship. Thank you so much for joining us. Like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel of Trackstars Racing Series, and join us in 50 minutes' time for the main series. So on behalf of myself, Nick Patasso, and my fellow commentator and broadcaster Ian Jarman Dalitz, thank you so